Hello and welcome to another episode of Life in the Mind, a neurodivergent podcast hosted by neurodivergent people. This week is Life in the Mind of Paul Avery.
Hi.
I'm Joy Amy Wigman and this is...
Murray Spear.
And we're going to talk to Paul about various aspects to do with neurodivergence. How you doing, Paul?
I'm good, thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me. That's what you're supposed to say.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Your eternal servitude.
We're brought up that way, so be very, very polite.
Am I plugging? I feel like I should plug stuff.
You don't need to plug stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because you're literally on the podcast that you help run.
Yeah.
So Paul Avery is actually, I guess you're a producer?
I'm a manager.
You're our manager. So we're going to be learning some things about Paul today.
I suppose producer. Yeah, in the world of radio, I'm a producer. In the world of charity, I'm a manager.
Mm.
Yes.
We learn something new every day.
I'm really a producer, as my career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I produce this as well as various other things.
And your tap routines.
Yeah, tap routines. No, I haven't got much dance in me.
So, Paul, what's your relationship with neurodivergence?
Oh, my relationship with neurodivergence. So I am dyslexic and I have ADHD, although there should be a phrase, I am ADHD doesn't work.
Yeah.
And ADHD is literally the worst description of anything ever.
Yeah.
I would say. It's not an attention deficit or a hyperactivity disorder. It's mo-dope, no-dope. Trying to make that catch on, get kids.
What does mo-dope, no-dope mean?
Too much dopamine or not enough dopamine. That's basically ADHD in a nutshell. I don't think mo-dope, no-dope in a nutshell.
Conscious dopamine regulation.
I think that people want to call it Kevin or Frank or something.
Dave.
No, Dave? Is it Dave?
I think it was Dave.
I don't know. One of those.
What?
I'm sure it's...
There was
a reruns of comedy programs.
I don't know. People in the ADHD network are a bit, they got ADHD, but...
That's a good point.
But I've known I was dyslexic for most of my life. But ADHD, I didn't really realise until the last sort of 3 or 4 years. And I think it's interesting because when you speak to people about... traditionally, girls don't get diagnosed with ADHD because they do a lot more masking.
Yeah.
And I think that was me as a kid. I wanted to do the right thing. So you just spend a lot of time masking and I grew up in the 80s.
You just let your kids run wild.
Well, it was only the really wild kids that ever got any diagnosis of anything.
True.
Yeah, it's they're not burning down the house, so it's fine.
They're just normal.
Normally we'd ask how old you were when you discovered your neurodivergence.
Yes.
How did it sort of come about?
Oh, gosh. Well, the dyslexia was just quite obvious.
Yeah.
I think more obvious, left and right, and don't know which way a knife. Still couldn't tell you off the top of my head which way a knife and fork goes around. And
you got to go on your hands, not your feet. That's the important one. Otherwise it's just
you have to
hold
use
them in your hands, not in your feet. And
even now, while I'm trying to
with them.
No. It is both.
There is technically there is
a correct way to do it. But
just do it efficiency-wise.
Now I'm going, which one feels right? That's what people say to you. Well, which one feels right? They both feel right.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm holding a knife and fork in both hands, and neither. Schrodinger's knife and fork.
Yeah,
I think that's most of ADHD life is living Schrodinger's everything.
Yeah, I'm both here and I'm not. Physical form exists in this space.
I'm both thinking about nothing and everything.
Yes.
So probably good to point out that as well as being our manager, producer, Paul is also my husband.
Yes.
So it feels weird asking
Nepotism!
It feels weird asking Paul questions about things that I sort of know already.
It'd be really funny if you asked something and then he answered you. Really? Just learning.
I mean, also,
on the job.
I think my whole family is. So one of my daughters is autistic. My dad is autistic and has ADHD. My mum has ADHD. My two of my other children have ADHD. My little one who's 18 months, I imagine has everything.
I mean, let's face it, with us as parents, what hope has she got?
And my wife's autistic. So, like, we're keeping it in the family. We don't want to give our excellent genes away to those straights.
Yeah. You can build a proper monarchy, a neurodivergent monarchy of your own little kingdom. I mean, that's another thing about not getting diagnosed. Because you're in a bubble, if you're in a bubble of neurodivergent people, like everyone around you, for example, like your dad is neurodivergent, then the divergent aspects of your brain aren't noticed because it's just like, everyone does that.
Everyone does that,
Everyone does that. It's like, no, not everyone does that. Just everyone within our bubble of people.
Yeah, every time. So one of my other brothers has ADHD and is dyslexic. The other one is just nuts. But
it's a technical term.
Every time, like a new partner comes to an Avery family event, they have to go and have a little lie down.
I can confirm this.
I need like half hour. This
Give me a break.
Insane. You should probably see this. This is quite lively.
It is lovely. It's lovely though. We just end up meeting in bigger and bigger spaces so that we can break off into little groups. And occasionally, everyone who's married in can sit together and just go.
Trampoline in the corner just to go and randomly bounce some energy out or something.
So one of the questions I really like asking people is how their discovery. So I mean, your dyslexia from a really young age, but like with your ADHD, how your discovery, did it change your relationship with yourself and the way you think about yourself?
I think, yeah, I would say yes and no. So I think I have always been unique in, and I guess discovering you've got ADHD makes you slightly less unique. In one sense, you have a label for it. You're in a club. There's other people like you. I think, and I like that. I like being.
You like being in a
loud
club?
And different and all that stuff. 90% of the time. Sometimes you just feel like you're way too big. You're squeezed into a space.
The too muchness.
It's nice when it's a thing where talking all the time is good. It's not so nice when it's just two people and you're supposed to listen to their side of the conversation. or in classrooms or in any sort of place where you're supposed to sit and listen. So discovering I've got ADHD makes me a bit more like, oh, okay, I'm not bored. That's not what this is. This is I'm thinking about 10 other things. And I got your point 10 minutes ago. So my brain is now not going to listen to you and my body wants to move around. And I am much more confident as an adult to just go, I'm going to walk around. I'm not listening. And I'm now you discover it. It's stuff like, okay, we're in a one-to-one conversation. I'm not going to look at your face. I'm going to look at my phone. I'm doing that so I can concentrate. And if every so often I say something that you think is unrelated, is because I really care about remembering what you just said. And to do that, I have to porpoise down into 10 other thoughts to grab that and make it part of my memory. And I can porpoise back up way over here. And you're like, were you even listening? I was absolutely. That's why I got 7 steps away from what you're talking about, because I've put that in my memory.
What little dolphin's gone down, grabbed it, and pulled something back up.
Yeah,
it's interesting. You're linking it into your mind web.
Yeah,
of memory and how that actually makes sense. But like more of a recognizing that the brain is doing that. I never thought about.
Yeah, and explaining. It's nice to be able to explain to friends and family and go, this is what I'm doing. Yes, I've got my phone at the dinner table. That's because I want to listen to you all.
Yeah. It doesn't mean I'm not.
I can just put this away and sit here in a bubble of my own. Yeah. That's really pleasant for me. My bubble's cool, man.
It's that kind of thing of like, the physical versus the actual mental of like, you can either have me physically looking and acting like I am here, paying attention, going, hello, I'm looking at you in the eyes. Oh, yes, I'm going to do this every now and again and nod. Or you can have that gone and be actually engaged in the conversation. I could be looking at my phone or fiddling with something and actually know what is going on and interacting. And that's interesting.
I guess like is we play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, and
Sorry about swinging on Amber. I'm trying not to swing on my chair.
Oh, yeah.
I know we're allowed to.
You're allowed to, right?
But it's not very good recording etiquette, is it?
It's fine.
Oh, I look back
You're in
at
the
the and it's just like,
yeah, we should do like a reaction video to us watching the videos back. It's like, oh, what am I doing? We play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, and Paul was saying the other day about being a dungeon master. There'll be points where you've got no idea what's going on with the players because you're busy preparing for the next bit, and I feel that's a little bit of a descriptor for ADHD. Like I'm currently looking at this.
Oh yeah, I'm 10 steps down.
I'm 10 steps down the road. So like, yeah, when you and our friend Tony were talking about that made me think like that's Paul all the time though, isn't it? It's like,
yeah, I'll grab a point in the conversation, and then I'm running with that in my mind, and then I surface further down with just telling someone an address. They're like, is that of use to me?
Yeah,
it will be eventually.
Like, I'm from the future. We'll get there.
It is. It's like having Paul from the future.
Yeah. I've already worked out what you're going to say, and I've got your answer. You'll work it out soon. Bye.
But it also, I think, then can seem presumptuous to people that you're not there, you're not
engaging,
taking
but
on
actually
their thought process and waiting, having a group thought process, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and you can also, it can create misunderstandings, and it's that difficulty sometimes, isn't it, where it's just like, brain has done that. I didn't choose for brain to do that. Brain just did that, and trying to then recognize, oh, that's going to make a crinkling noise, tingling. It'd be really weird if that's not actually picked up by the microphone. My fiddle's high.
I'm trying really hard not to go like make a noise that goes with tingling. We're allowed to hear, so
yeah. But in terms of that kind of the balancing the whizzing off with an idea with like going on the group thought process and being like, because sometimes I at least find this with the ADHDs, the wuzzies, that my brain can be got a conclusion and then thrown it in. It's like, yeah, but in the time, like 2 seconds that you were doing that, it's actually gone in a different direction.
Yeah.
And I'm back and then I go, oh wait, what?
It doesn't
and it's
fit
like,
anymore.
this doesn't fit at all anymore. And autism brain goes, oops. Oh, why is the what? But the rules. Who gave the? Where's the rule book gone? And I just kind of go silence for the rest of the conversation.
Yeah, and it's nice not to think. It's going back to a discovery thing. It's nice not to think I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
it's easy to think, and because other people look at you like, what you're saying doesn't make sense, or. No, you. How can you possibly have thought that you did a thing you definitely haven't done? No, I did do it. In my mind, and for all intents and purposes, to me, I did that thing. I closed the fridge door. I locked the house. I turned the gas off.
Yeah,
I did that. How is the gas still on then, Paul? I have literally no idea.
It's magic. There was a poltergeist.
And it's nice. It's nice. I think the discovery is nice to go, oh, okay. I'm not an idiot. Also, there's the weird thing of, is there a solution to this problem? I don't know if there is. My mum used to often say to me, like when I was little, but just remember. It was really unhelpful. I cannot remember. Yeah. Tie knots and stuff. I've got a knotty thing now. Like, I can't do it. It's not within me. And there are obviously things you can do.
Poor Neville Longbottom with his remember all. Like blows when you've forgotten something, but it doesn't tell you what you've forgotten.
Yeah, really unhelpful.
Yeah, really unhelpful. So when you discovered like the ADHD thing, which I think was first mooted by your daughter, actually.
Oh yeah, not even mooted.
No, she literally said, "Dad, you've got ADHD."
Not even that. Maybe more along the lines of, obviously you've got ADHD. Like everyone knew.
How did you not know?
Well, how are you just finding this out?
But did you? So did you like, for want of a better phrase, come out as being ADHD?
A little bit, but it's something I talk about pretty openly. I think having been through a lot of mental ill health, that's something I felt like I needed to come out with more. And then I just started talking about it as if it's normal. And then I just let other people deal with their relationship to what I just said themselves. And I think it's the same with ADHD. It's just to go, oh yeah, I walk around like a dino. I walk around with dinosaur arms because I've got ADHD, apparently.
Which you didn't know.
Who knew? Well, who knew? How can that possibly be true? But apparently it is.
Yeah, because your brain's doing dopamine.
Yeah.
I'm all wow.
One thing I have stopped doing, which I used to do all of the time, is this. When I'm thinking. Playing with my finger over my...
Yeah,
for people who aren't watching it, arm over the top of the head and then fiddling with the other ear.
I think just enough people went, that's weird. I sort of stopped doing it.
Yeah. No, it's interesting when you pick up on those little physical cues that are things related to something that's happening internally and go, oh, I do that when, that's linked to something. That's why I always have a spot on the end of my nose. Or that's why I always have... why I have a bowl patch here, or that's why I have this random bit of thing in my hand at all times that just somehow gets there. Because it's there to be fiddled with. It's just been picked up without me realising.
Oh,
why is there grass in my hand?
That's always a fun. John Mitch says, will you stop doing that? You're like, I'm not doing anything. And then I stop and think about it, and I'm making an incredible noise, just a rhythmic noise, which is really comforting to me.
And really awful to me.
I don't even know I'm doing it.
The realities of the autistic and ADHD
relationship,
Sometimes it's perfect, absolute synergy, and sometimes like...
We were at a little party, just a few friends, but I was sat on a bar stool. And it was just making the most pleasing squeaking noise as I spat on the chair, really helping me keep concentrating on the conversation. And about four of my autistic friends were like, will you stop doing that?
The thing is, we got to that point at exactly the same time. We'd been like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Will you stop doing that? All four of us. It was really funny.
Tapping into the collective tension building up. You were so in tune to each other. So this tension just rising. And it's all just like at the same time.
So I guess we've sort of covered this, but how do you experience the world? What's going on in your little head?
That's a difficult question, isn't it?
It's a difficult question.
Because you don't know how everyone... I think I was thinking about this. I think having ADHD is a little bit like sailing a ship in a storm most of the time, in that you're just vibing with the next wave and the next thing, and sometimes it's terribly terrifying, and often it's just really exciting.
And every now and again, the eye of the storm comes along, and you're like, why is everything suddenly still? But really, really still? I know everything else exists, but it's just really still here.
I think that's a really odd thing about ADHD is, for me anyway, when I'm hyper, I don't believe that the other state exists. I know it exists, but the state of total lack of executive function, inability to do anything.
Yeah.
When I'm now, I'm pretty G'd up, I'm pretty hyper, imagining myself with no dope, no executive function, an inability to do anything, can't concentrate, can't finish tasks, can't tidy the house, all those things. It's a weird, to me anyway, and then when I'm like that, I think, well, I'm never going to achieve anything again.
Oh, that's really interesting. Because for me, I can understand where coming in as I also have autism in there mixed in, kind of going, I can understand I can understand how that could be. But because for me, my autism is there going, I have to have some amount of routine, and also can remember loads and loads too much of stuff. I remember all these little details of things. So I remember all the things I haven't done rather than just being like, I definitely did that. It's like, I didn't do that. Did I need to do it? Yeah, I really did, but only for me. And stuff like that. And so I kind of remember each of the different times of stuff.
Yeah.
So that evens out that slightly, which is interesting. Just like that's probably a way in which it's useful to also have the other side of the chaos brain.
Yeah. So go on. What things? Yes, in lots of situations, I feel much too big. I'm physically quite big, but I feel emotionally too big. I recognize that there are social constructs that, obviously you can't just talk all of the time and just brain splurge. I quite like hanging out with just ADHD people because we just all splurge at one another, and it's a group thing, and you can connect. I connect with people by splurging. They say something, I splurge. They say something, I splurge. I connect. I realise that isn't a way people who are not got ADHD can cope with a relationship or a conversation. But if it's just ADHD people, it's like, we're just all splurging and we've all connected. And it's tricky in all those situations where there's a formal thing and you're supposed to sit still and not say things and listen to other people. And I love the dyslexia and the ADHD. So we haven't really touched on the dyslexia. I think because the dyslexia affects me in that I can't really read. I can read. I hate reading because all the words move around. I think added to the ADHD, if you send me a paragraph of text, send me bullet points, gobble them up. But a paragraph of text, no chance of me understanding what it is. I put the reader thing on Word or on Google, where you can just get it to be read to you, which I find really, it's a really useful way to go through like forms and documents and being a manager.
And it helps that you've got somebody who is a copy editor living in your house.
Yes, yeah.
It's quite helpful.
So I think with the dyslexia, it's funny when you write. I write stuff. I like writing. I am a writer as well, and I have no idea that I can't reread a thing and know it's spelt wrong.
That's interesting.
Like I could tell you the rule about how to spell there, and 90% of the time I get it right. But if I've got it wrong, it's invisible to me, that wrongness, until someone goes, that isn't the right there, or you have to put full stops in sentences or any of the or you can't capitalize words random. That's a really weird thing. I don't know. I'd like to know from dyslexic people if just randomly capitalizing words is a thing we do.
Maybe it's because do you know a different language? Because like in German, there's capitalizing of every noun.
I think it's because I put it semi-touch type. So I don't know if my finger, perhaps it's the ADHD every so often goes, we'll put a capital in. Shift.
That looks cool. I prefer the big form of this one to the other one.
It is perfect if your partner is somebody who is autistic and their particular special interest is written grammar. Don't pull me up on it when I'm speaking because I have no control about what comes out of my mouth most of the time, but written grammar. So when Paul gives me a document to read, it is like num. Give me the random capitalizing. I love it.
But I think it's changed you a little bit because
totally.
You used to be one of those that's not how you spell that on Facebook people.
Oh, totally.
Sorry, that was a mean impression.
It was pretty mean.
But from the basis of having dyslexia, we're going, all right, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't really care about those things. You get the gist. You know what I'm saying. Yeah. And also, I can't do better. So,
and it's a really good example of how kind of exposure to those different, because we all have our own kind of ways of being, our own lexicon, our own paradigm of existence. And then it's only through exposure to other people's unique perspective that we then get our own nuances worked in. Yeah, because actually I hadn't thought about the paragraph thing with dyslexia.
With a bullet point.
That actually, or just lots of little messages. I hadn't thought about that, and I've got friends who are dyslexic, and I'm like, that now makes so much more sense.
Yeah, I'd much prefer three
Little ones.
messages. If you've got 3 points to make, 3 messages is I'll read each one. One message with 3 points, I might get one of the points.
Yeah.
I feel like the Wicked Witch of the West, because I'm going to have to wrap it up. Because
can I say 2 things I love about?
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah.
2 things about the combination of dyslexia and ADHD is absolutely sort of not just being able to see the world outside the box. You live outside the box, and you find solutions to problems that nobody else sees. And having grown up and matured, I now understand that nobody else sees those solutions, because when you're younger, you go, this is obvious. Are you people stupid? But actually realizing that I don't even see the box. I see a different way of solving every problem. That's really exciting. Yeah. And the other thing is, I think as I've got older and I learned more about myself, I can harness from time to time the hyperfocus and the energy, which means I'm great at starting new projects and all that sort of thing, because it's exciting to be able to harness that energy until you become a spinning ball of
a whirly dervish.
And you have to have a little crash. And I can also, that's another thing I've learned, is to pace the crashing.
Yeah.
And to go.
You can give yourself space. You'll be able to validate it and actually just go, this can be great. This can be a real strength.
And I can go like, I know that I'm running at 200%. And I know this will crash. I know that's coming. But I know that if I can get to 2 days' time, then I can crash. Then it's fine.
You can plan it in.
Yeah.
Right, well, I am going to have to...
Sorry.
It's all right, it's fine. You get 2 people with ADHD having a chat. It's been really nice to chat to you, Paul. Maybe homework for listeners this week is to come up with your own version of what we should call ADHD. Yeah. So we've got no dope, mo-dope.
Other way around.
Mo-dope, no dope. Sorry.
Obviously.
Sorry, obviously it's that way around.
No, wait,
so yeah, drop us your suggestion in the comments. Okay, folks, that's it for this episode. You can follow us on Instagram at life.inthemind, and our other socials are linked in our bio. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Bye-bye.